What's on, where, and when. It's the Talk of Nelson. NBS Talk Nelson.
At NBS, we believe in banking for life. For over 160 years, we've been a trusted banking provider for generations of locals like you. We know our clients personally and build long-term relationships with them, offering flexibility by giving our staff freedom to make quick decisions to put them first. Experience banking for life with NBS.
Welcome to Football Focus, your prime source for all things football on the top of the South. I'm Chris Butler, and back with me today, Ryan Skippy Stewart. Nice to have you back, mate.
Good to see you, buddy.
And I see you brought in a very special guest, Sheree Lapslie. Is that correct, Sheree?
It is.
And who's the regional and technical support from Mainland Football.
That's correct. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you in the region. So can you tell us a bit about your trip to Nelson, what you're up to?
Sure. So originally I was working down in Mainland Football as administration support for 40 hours for 12 years, and then decided to have a rest from Mainland Football and head out to Clubland, which is where I went and was the general manager out at Christchurch United. And I was there just short of a year.
Yes.
And then decided to take time out from the game. Which lasted 3 months. I went and helped Coastal Spirit for a few months in the Winter League up until they then got their new general manager, and then went back to Mainland Football with the idea of coming into Nelson region and supporting Val Smith. And then Val Smith resigned earlier in the year, and we had full discussions on how do we think the region could work. So Martin Field-Dodson, the CEO, and I had a lot of discussions, and we decided to take it head on, and for me to take the role up. Basically, I'm up here at least once a month, can be twice a month. We have presidents' working groups meeting every second month, which I attend. We have staff most months, whether that's technical, whether that's like our CEO, Martin came up this week on the trip with me. And it's been a very successful season.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting because, we have heard your name as having to sort of jump in and help things out when pretty much we don't have a Nelson Bays board anymore. We have a Nelson Bays representative, Stu Reid, still.
Yes, correct.
Yes, he obviously got voted back in. Good old Stewie. And we heard your name, all good things about jumping in, helping out, which has been fantastic. But now it's interesting that you're actually pretty much focused on Nelson Bays football.
Correct. So I took over Val's the role.
Yes, right.
The finance is done back in Christchurch. Our technical department's based in Christchurch, but come up here regularly, running coaching courses, running under 17 trials, New Zealand trials. So we have staff up here most months. Adam in the community game. So it's mainly football staff are well represented in the region.
So I should actually go back a bit. So has it always been mainly an administration role? So how did you get involved in football in the early days?
Through my two boys, actually.
Right.
They originally played at Nomads, and the coach was Colin Grant.
Right.
And Colin Grant was the competitions manager at Mainland Football. And so he said that they were under pressure with South Island tournaments coming up, and could I do half a dozen hours for 3 or 4 weeks to help them prior to the tournaments commencing, and never left. So 6 hours went to 20 hours, and then I went full time. Obviously had 18 months away from Mainland Football and gone back to my happy place. And so I'm 30 hours currently at Mainland Football and up to 20 hours a week with New Zealand Football, helping Annalie Longo out while she's been away with the Olympics, Women's World Cup. Which has been exciting.
I was going to say, so that's interesting. You mentioned, geez, that's a big week, isn't it? But you mentioned New Zealand football role, and the fact that you're working beside her. I mean, that's an amazing story in itself, isn't it?
Great. She's such a legend,
isn't she? Yeah,
she's awesome. And it's been great working with New Zealand Football and Anna Lee Longo. We've brought Fantails into the region in Nelson. We started that term 4. We had 85 girls were introduced to Fantails on the back end of the Women's World Cup, which was the biggest hub in New Zealand. And it's just continually growing. And what we want to do is just grow the girls' game in Nelson. And by bringing in this Fantails program, it's proving to be the right thing. And for the first time for a very long time this year, we managed to get 11th and 12th grade girls only competition up in Nelson, which is outstanding.
So what's your role with New Zealand Football now? What do you do for them?
So I'm based helping and supporting Anna Lee Longo in the Fantails, so the administration of the Fantails. Anna Lee's now come back from the World Cup and the Olympics, and so she's gone back full-time now, so I'm about to step away from that and solely focus on mainly football, Nelson-based footballs.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's been good, great journey.
Okay, now we're just about at the end of the season, not long to go. We've got a cup final day at Richmond coming up, and
we have.
So thoughts so far on the season? What's been your impression of the season so far?
It's been a good season. We haven't had terribly many issues, to be fair at all. The disciplinary heading through to mainland football has been a lot better than it has been in previous seasons, which is great.
Well, you've been away quite a bit of that time, haven't you? So
I haven't played this year, but you don't know me. I haven't played 3 games.
Yeah.
So the competitions has gone really smoothly. We have done 3 sets of regrades for the junior and youth. And that's gone really smoothly. We've had a full completion of the senior men's, women's and masters. And then we've had the last 2 or 3 weeks with friendlies because we've sort of only had one rained out weekend, which is great.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So it's really helped.
And that's a big change, isn't it, Skippy? Because I mean, there were people up in arms just about that one weekend, a few.
I remember a couple of years ago, I think we lost like 5-6 weeks.
It's
ridiculous. So to be lucky enough to. And it's just clubs understanding that sometimes we have to miss trainings to get the games on, because if we don't, then we're going to hammer them. So now it's been very good. I think all the clubs have been quite understanding about ground closures. I think Nelson Council will probably be more involved than they ever have, which is good as well because it helps the clubs. It takes a bit of pressure off us, and we're not always the ones closing it. They're stepping up, which is good. And TDC have always been quite good with their information regarding keeping the pitches well and making sure that we don't hammer them.
And on top of that, we have a WhatsApp group now with our club presidents and the technical staff, TJ and Skippy. So if on a Friday night I look at the Met service and it goes, actually it's going to bucket down for the next 24 hours, we start the communications rolling, and at 7 o'clock in the morning, the clubs go out and check the grounds and come back to me by 7:30, and we have a roundtable discussion on whether, thumbs up football, thumbs down no football. So I think that process has worked really well too.
It's been a lot better this year. Yeah, definitely.
So junior stocks, junior competition been pretty good. I took a walk down Saxon Field one Saturday morning. It kept going right down by Garran College, and that's not to mention the other competitions around the region, but fairly healthy stocks.
149 teams across the region this year, which is great.
Yeah. And big steps in Golden Bay too, isn't it? That's really growing over that way, isn't it?
Definitely. I think Motueka as well. I think I spoke about Waimea Plains and what they're doing with Wakefield now. They're starting to grow as a club as well in their juniors and youth, which is brilliant. And I think everyone's going in the right direction, which is superb.
Women's football, and it's been one competition or one division, if you like, which there were some discussions around. I think last year was the first time they trialled that. There were some big scores, and then initially in this season there were 1 or 2 bigger scores, but then a discussion halfway through the season about the mercy law and changing things up a bit, and that seems to have worked quite well. except for the fact that it looks as though it hasn't had to be used in the second half of the season because the matches have been closer, haven't they?
Yeah, so we did one complete round and then I called all the women in for a meeting because we had a couple of blowouts. So it was good to have a roundtable discussion and give them the opportunity to see whether they wanted to go one division or split off top 4, bottom 6. They all agreed to continue on as one round. We put in the fair play ruling, and I think in whole, it's been a lot better second round.
Yeah, and Motueka picking up 2 wins.
Yep.
Obviously, FC Diamonds had a bit of a change this year, and they've got things to work on. But I think the thing about Motueka is I can't ever remember, maybe once this year, but they never defaulted. And also Diamonds, apart from twice just not being able to, I think, get a team together, they're on the whole, no matter the score, they battled on and I think had a good season. So looking for improvements there, I'm sure they are. And of course, the Breakers this year have just leapt to another level, haven't they? So
done well.
Yeah.
Good.
And the Foxes, even though they've had quite a few changes, they managed to still win that. Men's division, so obviously in the senior grades, 2nd, 3rd division, 4th division, they've always been fairly strong, haven't they?
Competitive, and I think a lot of the leagues were competitive this year. Right up to the top one as well, which was good.
And first division, been pretty happy with that season.
Yeah, Rangers AFC have taken the cup this year.
Yeah.
They're pretty pleased.
I bet they are. Yeah. Well, we're going to hopefully have it's Wolfie, isn't it?
Yeah, Wolfie, we're trying to get him on.
We'll try and get him on, if not Zoom them in, because they have won the league. And then the question, of course, is will they challenge for Mainland League? But I guess that's a discussion from Melbourne. That's quite a financial commitment, isn't it?
Yes, I believe that they are not going to take up the challenge for Southern League.
So what happens there? Does that then open the door for someone else to have a crack, or does it just go on to the next season?
You can nominate now. So you have to, if you can get your application in and get a license granted, I think you can. But yeah, again, it's obtaining that license, and if you can, I think for a lot of the teams.
I was going to ask you how Christchurch was going because I thought you'd still have a role in that, but yeah, that was interesting to me that you're totally focusing on Nelson Bay's football, and Mulder's looking after themselves under the umbrella, obviously, of Maine.
They have 2 staff over there, and then we have myself over in Nelson.
So with that administration support and the discussions you've had so far, can you see Nelson going back to having their own board and running, their own local football again? You think that they'd prefer the administration support?
Yeah, the system that's in place now, I believe, is working and it's been successful. We constantly speak to the presidents and ask them what's good, bad, and ugly. Is there something that they're not happy with? And overall, I think it's been a successful season and most clubs are happy.
And do you think that also, Skippy, that's a big part in the presidents talking more? Because I remember in the old days, I don't think the clubs they might have got together occasionally, but I don't think at the level they do now. Do you think that's working a lot better?
I think it's one of those things now. You've got people in positions that, again, I always say it, sometimes we get lost and football doesn't come first, and that's what it's there for. At the end of the day, all of the clubs are always going to be at different levels. We're from different parts of a small region. So the off-field stuff is, every club's going to do it differently and they're going to have their own opinion. But when it comes to football and doing the right thing for people playing the game, then I think the last 2 years has shown that we've definitely gone in the right direction with that as a club of communities, a community of clubs. And yeah, I think it's really, really good going forward.
Fantastic. Well, we always hear good things about you, Sheree. And it sounds though just no one is going to mess with you at all. So,
and it's exciting. We are also introducing futsal into the region. So we're bringing in a futsal junior and youth competition in term 4, which is exciting on the back end of the futsal holiday program that Nelson Bay's football run in the July school holidays. We had 84 or 85 kids on that.
Yes,
amazing. We brought Chris Sinclair up to oversee it and coordinate the program. He did an amazing job. Chris is a FIFA World Cup international referee who's just left for Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan for the World
For
Cup.
the futsal World Cup. So he left yesterday. But he was amazing. He ran a great program up here, and we will look to continue that on in the future.
Yeah, fantastic. Where do they generally play that?
Saxon Stadium.
Oh, it is going to be in the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So just a little bit of an eye on the future for you. I guess there's been some positives. Obviously, the stocks are pretty healthy. The men's league's pretty healthy. But tell us about perhaps some of the areas that you're hoping to grow and develop, and also a little bit of insight on growing the women's game.
Yeah, so growing the women's game, we've got the P Waka Waka / Fantails program in play. So that's each term, Tuesdays 4 to 5 out at Saxon Stadium. And from there, we want to have those girls have an amazing experience, and then they'll move into the clubland and play into the either mixed teams or into girls-only teams. We're looking at running a P Waka Waka Summer League competition for girls 9s to 12, term 4. Again, giving them a competition-based playing environment, and hoping come term 2 next year, they will then sing out to their clubs and join up with their clubs, and hopefully we get an under 9s, under 10s girls league going next year on the back end of having a successful under 11s and under 12s competition this year.
Because this year, is it Charlene? Remind me from
Sheree.
Sorry, Sheree.
Yep.
Sorry, Sheree. Sheree was talking about the fact that there's been an increase in all girl teams playing on Saturday mornings and what have you. And I suppose the same problem. I mean, around their late teens, they tend to go off to university, early 20s. So we've still got the same issue, haven't we?
And you'll always have that.
Yeah.
Come sort of 17, 18, those girls and boys that want to go to university have to actually move out of the city. And then that affects, the senior teams of
100%.
around the region.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Notice that too, Skippy, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%. We get it all the time. Again, especially with the boys' side, and now with the WSPL girls team, we're losing girls to the States. With again, it's not a bad thing. We're sending them on to the next stage of their career as football and as young women, in university. So yeah, that's what we can do, and keep them coming. And
all right, Sheree. Well, look, that's been a great insight, and actually, I've learned something today that there is someone navel gazing and keeping an eye on us, keeping us in check, because a few of these boys run away with it, don't they? And keep them in check.
She even answers her phone on a Sunday morning, which is crazy. Yep. So I'll give her that. Give her the benefit.
That's why she's got the job.
Yeah, she does. She picks up on a Saturday and Sunday, which is unheard of in her position. So yeah, I'll keep that going.
Oh, well, fantastic. It's great to have you here. And really looking, I mean, there's still the season to go because we've got the big cup day. And not this weekend, next weekend. And juniors, are they pretty much?
We've got the cup finals August 31st, and then we've got Tasman 10th grade and 15th and 17th Tasman rec tournaments 29th and 30th of September, and then we have a day's rest, and then we move on to the South Island tournament Jack McKnight 11th grade. So we've got about 35 teams coming into the region in the junior space. Busy times ahead. Football just doesn't finish in 2 weeks. It's an all-round sport.
And then we go into the summer leagues, don't we? Because we've
also got secondary schools as well. The girls tournament we talked about last week. 34 of them turning up in the first week of September. So Saxton's is going to be a bit of a football haven for the next sort of month.
Oh, that's
month
good.
And a bit.
Oh, that's great.
Looking forward to it.
Keeps everyone out of trouble, that's for sure. Okay, and you're going to stick around and help us with some picks coming up here, Sheree.
He's not allowed to say draw for all of them.
Yeah, that's right. And you can help us with the argument of what's a derby and what's not. Today we're diving into senior men and women's local premiership, the Southern League for both men and women, and you'll be able to keep us up to date with perhaps one or two things in New Zealand football. And apart from the odd bit of news, it's mainly the premiership, which has got things well underway, the first round, and we'll be going to the second round this weekend. First of all, senior football update brought to you by Shen Financial, KiwiSaver Insurance and Financial Planning. And the results from last weekend, well, there was a catch-up game, which was really a chance for the reserves to see how they would go against the mighty Foxes, and geez, 8-0. So,
Yeah, it was as I spoke about last week, we give a lot of the academy girls a game in that just for
Oh,
the
did you?
experience. Again, it was a sort of dead rubber. Nothing was going to happen on the table. But again, they'll learn a lot from that, even though, yeah, people look at the score, but they'll learn. They're young, and they sort of see where the top level in our local region is within their league. So they'll be happy with that. And again, we'll be keen to get amongst it when the finals on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right. We've got the same game coming up for the cup final, so it's going to be interesting, isn't it? So
yeah, that'll be a closer one.
Bit of they're planning already. And the Hothouse Foxes obviously taking the league out comprehensively, second the reserve, so be happy with that, especially trying to carry an SPL team.
Yeah, I think the staff will be happy with it, especially with the number of young girls that have came through, which is fantastic. So it's good for the league as well. And again, well done to the Foxes again. I think they've shown for the last few years how competitive they are. So well done. Yeah.
And the Breakers getting third this year, so they'll be pretty happy with that, that's for sure. And that's it we'll talk about the cup games next week. But that's pretty much the season. Congratulations to the Foxes. Nelson Pine senior men's first division, and results from last weekend, and it's almost draws all round. So Karini drawing with FC Nelson at victory, so not quite the win, but they'll be pretty happy with that result, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'll be disappointed. The shield was up. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, the community
shield. Phil Thompson
that's right. That's right.
So there was a bit of something to play for in that game. So yeah, to see it finish 2-2, I think they'll both be disappointed.
So I guess, I don't know who holds it at the moment. Presume Karini hold that, and so they'll hang on to it.
I actually think FC Nelson, the first 11, held it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I do. I think they did hold it. But yeah, as I said, Karini are hard to beat at victory with their fan club and the support they get. So yeah, good point for them for their last game.
And how's this turn up for the books?
2-2.
2-2 between Tahuna and Rangers, and that was at Tahuna. So you can give, it's always a hard ground, that one, but we wouldn't have picked that. But Tahuna are one of those sides that they've had the close results, but haven't been able to quite get the wins they needed. But they peaked, but didn't quite manage to tip them up. But what a great result! They'll be happy with that.
Definitely. Yeah, we've said they've been close all year. Yeah, they haven't lost many games by many. So, yeah, as you said, they've sort of got stronger as the league's gone on. So they'll be happy with that, and hopefully, pushes them on for next year.
The Golden Bay Mountain Goats doing it comprehensively at home. Oh no, hang on a minute. Was that 3-0 or was that
3-0?
It was actually 3-0.
Yeah.
You thought it was a default, didn't you?
Because every time I see 3-0, I think, oh, hang on, no, it's a default. But this time, actually, 3-0.
Yeah.
So always really hard to beat at home. And, they've been performing pretty well on the whole too. Yeah, it's a great result.
Yeah, the Mountain Goats, fair play. They come over that mountain every other week. So same as Blenheim with their travels. So great for them to get a win in their last game of the season at home.
All right, the draw for this weekend. There are a couple more games to go. These are really catch-up games. So, Sheree, we've got Smith & Sons Richmond at Jubilee Park on their home turf. Went down 3-0 last week, taking on Tahuna, which will be pretty buoyed by that draw. So, are you picking it?
I would say that could be a draw.
She was going there.
Yeah.
Use a Skippy's trick.
Yeah.
Not calling it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you'd probably be pretty close there.
We'll be close, I think, actually. Yeah.
And then another one is Rangers. This is at Athletic Park, and Karini have got to go over the hill. So, what are your thoughts on that one?
I think 2-0 to Rangers.
2-0.
I think they'll finish on a win.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go safe and go 3-0 because you never know what's going to happen. So, go 3-0.
Well, a default.
I don't know. Just could be 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think last game of the season, they're in pretty good form. But you never know. Karini might turn up. But it actually makes no difference because Rangers pretty much very, very close on... they could go 34. Is that right? So if they pick up a win, they'll go 34. So that's a fairly handy lead by the end, but geez, it was close all season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. As I said, there was top four were pretty much at it all season, which was good for the league and good for the competition. So yeah, I think it's been very good. It's been very tight.
And Now, actually, I didn't check what Karini were on, but reserves and FC Nelson on 28 each. But if Karini picked up
21.
21.
oh, are they? So
Yeah,
they're a bit
that's right.
behind. So they end up in fourth. So yeah, very tight season. Very well done. The Southern League women, and they carry on. The results from last weekend. Coastal Spirit 3-0 over Nelson Suburbs. So it wasn't a shellacking. So
Is that the game? We were there for the first half. We went and watched because we played after them at 2:00.
right.
So they conceded in the 44th and the 46th just
Right.
before half time, which really made it hard because they were quite competitive until then, and two quick goals just before half time pretty much changed Geezer's whole halftime team talk, I would say, because they were right in it in the first half. But yeah, and again, when Coastal get in front, it's hard to get back into the game. But we watched it. The girls created chances, and yeah, they'll feel a little bit unlucky that first half, conceding those two goals. But yeah, again, the girls keep improving. In the day, they won the right to play in that league, so it's good that they're in there and they're playing every week against top teams.
Roslyn Wakari, well, it all came home to roost for them against Kashmir Tech, didn't it? 11-0. So Kashmir Tech just on fire at the moment, aren't they?
Tough day at the office.
Yeah.
Kashmir Technical also had Annalie Longo returning, so she would have made a huge difference to the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, fairly one-sided.
Yeah, they're a class act, aren't they? So in the men's division, I guess that's a question. The top two go through to a national league. So that doesn't happen in Southern League women this year. Is that correct?
No. So at the moment, it's only in the northern and central region that it was clubs have been introduced, and I think it's more doing I don't know much about it, but I think it's just New Zealand football gradually trying to make the change where in the southern you've had Southern region and Canterbury Pride, have always been really, really strong. And yeah, I think that to take them away from it would probably not make us as competitive as we would be. So you'll have as a region.
So again, you'll have Canterbury Pride competing in National
Canterbury
League.
United Pride and Southern United.
Right. So they'll keep their franchise model or provincial model. Okay, and then if we look at the draw for this weekend, and we'll get you guys to pick Roslyn Wakari. They're at home against Otago University. That's at the football turf.
I'm thinking Otago Uni will come away 4-0.
4-0.
Yeah, against Roslyn.
They're struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, Otago seem to be the stronger team, and out of below the Royals down there, it seems to be Otago Uni. So yeah, I'm going to go higher. I'm going to go 5.
5-0.
Yeah. Poor Roslyn. He lost the
bounce back.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. There we go. Kashmir Tech. Geez, this is going to be a good game against Coastal Spirit at English Park.
Great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good game. I think it'll be a close game. Definitely a close game, but I definitely can see Kashmir Technical coming through for the win. And I'm going to say 3-1.
3-1. Yeah.
They have to win at the end of the day if they want to close the gap on the Royals. So they'll definitely be going out for the win. And after scoring 11 last week, I think they'll be full of confidence. Big shout out to Anna McPhee, who I think's up there in the Golden Boot race as well for Cash Tech, good Nelson girls. So hopefully she can get a couple of goals, and yeah, they'll win 3-1.
And then Nelson Suburbs, they get a chance to play at home 12:30 on 24th. That's Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Against Dunedin City Royals. So they're not a bad side, Dunedin City, are they? They're actually currently sitting on top of the table. So it doesn't get any easier for Geetha and the girls.
It's a tough assignment this weekend for the girls. But again, as I said, they don't shy away from it. Every time I see them down at training, you can see they're putting the work in on the training ground, and they want to improve, and the girls are full of enthusiasm. So yeah, they'll go out and give a good account of themselves and try to push Dunedin as far as they can.
Southern League men and University of Canterbury going just down by 2-1 to Dunedin City Royals. A very close game. Ferrymead Bays 3-2. Skippy, you'd be happy with that result?
Not really. We're 2-0 down after 15 minutes. So yeah.
Well, that's a great result.
Yeah, we came
what
back.
A comeback.
Nah, I must admit, the boys, we had a lot of new faces in. We had 4 or 5 lads out with injury.
That's right. You were saying that it's
suspended.
A very young side.
So I think by the end up, we had young Alston Jeffries, 16, he started. Ziggy Cresswell, 16, started at centre back. We ended up with Abanash, from town who's came
Oh,
across.
yeah, right.
He got on, made his debut in the Southern League.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think we ended up with 7 under-20s on the pitch come the end of the game, and yeah, they all played their part, and the boys battled well to come back into the game, and yeah, good result away from home. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ferrymead only just behind you in that for that
Yeah.
4th position, so that was quite vital to try and
It was.
get that win, wasn't it? Okay, well, all the old boys are out then, because the
Yeah,
young boys are
100%.
obviously doing it.
Keep
and
them
they
in.
go, bring in the youth,
Keep them in.
bring the youth in. Nomads going down 6-0 to Kashmir Tech. So again, Kashmir Tech just
Garv scored 5,
oh,
and he scored 2 last night as well against Christchurch United in the cup.
right.
The man's a machine.
He was class.
He
He's
is.
absolutely class.
I-
And it was, Cashmere Technical were on fire.
Right.
And we had, it's funny, we had a chat about Garvin the other week with a lot of the lads from our team. And we just can't believe that the likes of Auckland FC haven't even looked at him. Doesn't take anything to have a look at him in training. I know he's an overseas spot because he's a foreigner, but the guy scores 25 plus a season
Yeah, right.
and got National League Player of the Year last year.
He did.
Year before, I think he was Golden Boot in the National League as well. It's just crazy. But he keeps doing it, keeps chipping away. He shows his class. I said he's the best player in the country at this level, and he seems to keep proving it every week. So yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah.
After 6 weeks on the beer in Ireland as well, it's a good.
Oh, is that right?
We're back to get married, so he's doing well. Fair play to him.
That's what he's running on.
Yeah.
Christchurch United 9-0 over Selwyn. So Christchurch actually, because they had a bit of a slow start to the season. I mean, obviously a different side this year. You might know more than us about it, obviously, but it's a different side, isn't it? And I think a younger side, Skippy was saying.
Yeah, it's a different side. Christchurch United are bringing in a lot of their youth from the youth academies, which is great. They did have a lot of senior heads depart at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Including the total coaching management.
Yes.
But I think Ryan's doing a good job out at Christchurch United. They are bringing in the youth, and they are getting some good game time. So hats out to Christchurch United.
Yeah, because their results towards the latter part of the season have been better, haven't they? They've definitely gone up a notch.
Yeah, and he's got a few key players coming back from injury, which has helped massively. But yes, Sheree said he's doing a brilliant job in a new club, and yeah, wish them all the best, but hopefully they don't turn up on Sunday and we can get a win.
Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about it then. The picks for this weekend, Selwyn United taking on Dunedin City Royals. That is at Foster Park. What are we picking there?
I'll let you do
Someone's
that.
got to call it. Someone's got to call it.
I'm thinking 4-1 to Dunedin City Royals.
Oh, she's picking scores,
She
not
is.
just the win.
Yeah. I'll go 2-1 Selwyn.
2-1 Selwyn at home. Because they're fairly similar on the table, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, okay. Nomads versus Universities of Canterbury. Going to be another close one. Tulette Park.
They will come out all firing this week after the disappointment loss to Cashman Technical last weekend. Nomads have been good.
They're a good side.
Yeah, again, they're developing their youth players coming through. Take my hat off to Matt. They persevere with the young ones. And there's been several games this year where results could have gone the opposite way. So I think Nomads will take that game out 3-1.
3-1. There you go. Kashmir Tech taking on Ferrymead Bays. That might fire them up a bit. Up 2-0 and going down 3-2.
As I said to you last week, this end of the season, Cash Tech do what they do and they just get results, mate. Right. And they've done it for years. And I can't see Dan and the boys putting a foot wrong, to be fair, the rest of the season.
Yeah. All right. Dunedin City Royals. So they are playing, what's that, a double up? Surely not a catch up on the same weekend, is it?
Catch up due to Chatham Cup.
So they're playing, so they're playing on the Saturday and then the Sunday.
The Saturday one's been moved, I think. Has it?
Has it?
I think the Saturday one's been moved.
There was a big red mark on that one.
They're going to get the away one to Dunedin out of the way, and then they're going to bring the Royals up. So that one will be played. The top one won't be, I don't think.
Yes, there was an explanation on that one.
Yep.
So Dunedin City Royals, you get a second crack at them versus Coastal Spirit. And that's actually at Tahuna Park.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one for Coastal Spirit.
Blizzards. And
it's a big one, and they do have a few players sort of out. They've had 2 tough losses in the league, and then in the cup semi-final to Wellington Olympic, lost their keeper to a head knock, lost a player to a head knock. Yeah, Dunedin, and when they turn up, they're a hard team to play against. And going away to them, yeah, Coastal need to win to stay in the title race, but I think that'll be a lot closer than what people think. And yeah, Dunedin will be up for an upset, I would say.
You picking that, or you think Coastal will be too strong?
I think Coastal will be too strong.
All right, now the big one. Nelson Suburbs versus Christchurch United. And as we pointed out before, Christchurch United actually doing all right, but good result against Ferrymead.
Yeah.
And if you take my advice and put all the young ones in there, they might run them off the park.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but now again, as I said, we're at the tail end of the season now, and we said last week we wanted to sort of get fourth place and make sure we get it, and beating Fermi Bay's put us a step closer to that. So we've really got nothing to lose, to be honest, Chris. We can go out and have a proper go, and yeah, we're not going to sit there and sit in and try to defend and hit them on the break. We're going to go for it, and that's what we like to do. So yeah, we're looking forward to the game, and the boys are looking forward to having a little bit of a sort of something to do with the end of the season and who gets in the National League and who doesn't. So yeah, so we can upset the apple cart. So yeah,
we'll be 7-5.
Could be. Could be.
So Sheree, your thoughts on this game?
I don't think I'd like to call this one.
No, she's going to stay neutral, seeing she's the local representative.
It depends on, who turns up for Christchurch United. It's going to be a tight encounter, but a lot rides on this game for Christchurch United.
Yeah, true. That's true. Oh, there you go. Upset the apple cart. So Kashmir Tech sitting on top, fairly comfortable there. Christchurch United, they do need to, they're only 3 points ahead of Coastal, and Coastal have got a game in hand, so they definitely need to win, don't they? And so do Coastal down.
Yeah, 100%.
So it all comes down.
Exciting 3 weeks.
Yeah, it is going to be. And Nelson Suburbs still sitting in fourth place. So well done, Skippy, holding that position. As we turn our attention to the Premier League, and before we knew it, the season was underway. Much to my, I was actually pretty pleased that it ended up only being 1-0. But at one point there, I thought, Fulham are doing all right.
Yeah, those were unlucky. I watched it. Me and my son got up and watched it at 7:00 on Saturday.
And I would have taken a draw too, but I was pretty gutted when it was. Was
it 87th minute they scored?
Yeah, just brought on the new signing and just towed it in. At the end. I mean, certainly Manchester looked the better side, but at times Fulham did the counter and, almost got across the board. So, and you just need, the trouble is if you go on a run and you get into that relegation zone quite early, it's hard to get out of, and you just need to get a couple of wins. And it's going to be a very tight competition this year. Ipswich didn't look shabby. That was fantastic to see them back in the league.
Yeah, first half they were very good.
But only going down 2-0 to Liverpool. And again, Liverpool showing their class. Arsenal, again, didn't have it all their own way, but again came through in the end, 2-0 over Wolves. We got Brighton. Geez, they ended up running away with it in the end, 3-0 over Everton. Newcastle, only just those. I thought, at times Southampton looked out of their depth, but then they grew as the game went on.
Yeah, I thought the 3 teams that have came up did very well the weekend. Yeah.
So 1-0 to Newcastle. Nottingham Forest, and Chris Wood does it again.
Scored again, mate.
Pokes it in, and they were 1-0 for quite a long time, but unfortunately Bournemouth got one back. West Ham 2-1 over Aston Villa. I thought actually that was an interesting game, but Aston Villa started to grow, didn't they?
Yeah.
Game went on.
We talked about them last week.
Yeah,
about being a bit of a surprise. They've brought in some good players, and he's a good coach. They've started well, and West Ham have brought in 5 or 6, so that was a good win for them away to West Ham. So they'll be buzzing with that.
Brentford still holding up their standards, and they're doing well. 2-1 over Crystal Palace. Manchester City. Well, this was to see where things are at, and unfortunately, sorry, Phil Thompson. Man City just showing their class again 2-0.
Yeah, they are.
It's not just going to be another Man City fest, is it? Someone's got to come along and upset the apple cart.
They're pretty good.
And then Leicester City 1-0 with Tottenham.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
And Tottenham were 1-0 up, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And then Vardy
got
his goal, and then he got in a bit of trouble because he was pointing to his Premier League badge and doing the old "we've got one and you've got zero"
No.
to the Tottenham fans, and they were giving it to him when he went off. So he got in trouble for that. He's got fined.
Oh,
yeah.
did he?
Yeah.
Inciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
pretty much.
gee, he sticks with the club though, doesn't he? Because
He's had offers to move away, and he's never left.
and he's gone down and played in the lower league and come back up and scores in the first game.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
brilliant.
All right. Do you follow a particular team, Sheree, in the Premier League at all? Not really.
I definitely don't.
So no favourites.
No favourites in my seat.
Okay. So very quickly, we're going to go through Brighton and Man U.
Brighton.
He's only saying that
They just won
because half his club follows Man U.
They just won 3-0 away to Everton at home to Man U. I think they'll beat them.
Tottenham over Everton, Sheree. Just a guess.
Everton.
Wow.
Love that. Love it.
Away. and Everton are away. Crystal Palace and West Ham.
Big derby, that one.
It is.
Yeah, that's a huge derby. But again, Palace.
See, isn't Big C a Crystal Palace
So he
supporter,
grew-
but he follows Chelsea.
So he grew up around
Crystal
Palace.
yeah.
Yeah, but then he went to all the games he went and watched was Chelsea when he was a young boy because it was just down the road. So yeah, he likes Crystal Palace. He always keeps an eye on them. But again, I watched a bit of that Brentford game. Yeah, I think they'll struggle against West Ham.
Southampton versus Nottingham Forest. This will be quite even. Sheree, you got to pick one. Southampton at home. Chris Wood and Nottingham Forest.
Let's go Chris Wood.
I reckon he'll score twice. Fulham versus Leicester City.
Two big signings this morning by Fulham. I think they'll be young striker from Leeds who they paid 40 million for, and then they've went out and agreed terms with Burnley for Van den Berg, who's Man United were after him.
Yes,
so
yes.
gone to Fulham. So they've strengthened. So yeah, I'm going to pick Fulham at the Cottage. To be fair,
Great, good stuff. I like that. Man City against Ipswich Town, Sheree.
Man City.
Yeah, you'd have
could
to
be a
say, wouldn't
long
you?
day for Ipswich.
Geez, it'd be great though. Sorry, Phil. Okay, because I.
He loves Man City. He keeps telling us.
That's right. Vardy to get 3 against Man City, wouldn't that be brilliant? Aston Villa versus Arsenal, Skippy.
I'm with Aston Villa.
At home.
I'm a fan of Villa. I think they're a top side. And I think, I think they turned over Arsenal last year to ruin their season pretty much. And that was at Highbury. So, yeah, not at Highbury, sorry, Emirates. But yeah, I'm going to pick Villa. Close. I'm going to be 2-1.
Bournemouth taking on Newcastle. Bournemouth at home, Sheree.
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
They're a good side. They're a good side. Wolves versus Chelsea. Jeez.
Yeah, I think I've seen enough from Chelsea last week. I think I think he's going the right direction, that coach. I think it's going to take him a while. He's got a squad of 44 to go through. But yeah, I think they've got enough there. And I think Neto will probably play that game against his old club. So yeah, I'm going to pick Chelsea to win that one.
And the last one, Liverpool at home versus Brentford.
It's got to be Liverpool.
Got to be Liverpool.
Yeah,
there you go.
Can't see us losing.
All right. Hey, Sheree, fantastic to meet you finally. As we said before, heard great things about you and fantastic with all the work you're doing, keeping Nelson football going and on the right track. So thank you very much for your hard work and safe travels going back tonight. Is that right?
Back tonight.
You're back to the cold, misty Christchurch, away from this beautiful sunshine.
Well, talking about the Christchurch and the snow, I should tell you what happened to us at the weekend.
Oh, you didn't get stuck on the limit.
Did you hear this? So we left on Saturday morning for the Bays game, played the match, came back to the airport, took off, got to Nelson, couldn't land, went back, landed, got booked in at the Novotel Hotel right beside the hotel, told our flight was at 7:15 a.m., got to the airport at 6 a.m., flight was cancelled. 4 of the boys could get on the next flight, but no one else could get on. So we got on a minibus, drove to the Lewis Pass, which was now closed, turned back around, went to Hamna, stayed in a holiday house.
So you couldn't get through past
No.
Hamna?
No, and then drove back Monday morning and got back at 4:30 afternoon on Monday. So shout out to the boys and their partners for putting up with the boys being away for two and a half days. But yeah, we got back and we made it one piece. But yeah, it was an entertaining weekend for the team.
Jeez, how's that?
Yeah.
No one filmed that documentary, did they?
We do have a video of the boys, which I can post on Facebook, of the boys moving a tree off the road.
Oh,
So that's quite an interesting one because it was snowed down. So yeah,
jeez.
Note to one say, take an extra pair of clothes.
definitely.
That's right.
Yeah, but yeah, real good good team building at the
Yeah,
end of the
bet
day,
it
lifting
was.
trees. But yeah, no, but
Oh, you
shout
couldn't
out
write
to-
about it, could you?
shout out to mainland and New Zealand football for just to help with that and get
Yeah.
that all sorted with accommodation and that, because I was ringing Josh McGurr at 25 to 10 at night on a Saturday, and they managed to get it sorted. So shout out to them for helping us get
How's that?
everything arranged.
Longest trip home in record.
It's the longest one I've had. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well done. Good character building. Thanks very much. That's it for another episode. Thanks to our venue sponsor, the Turf Hotel, right here on Main Road, Stoke. Don't forget the full Monty coming up next week, isn't it?
Yeah, he's losing members. He's
He's
down to. I think he's
It's
down
just
to.
going to be him in the end.
I think it's down to 3. I think it could be the big man on his own. We've managed to talk a couple of the boys into it. So, yeah.
So it'll be a great show. You
Looking
can buy
forward to it.
tables and raising money for the Cancer Society. So make sure you check it out on their Facebook page. Thank you, Skippy. Thank you, Sheree. You can catch this and other podcasts on MBS Talk Nelson on our social media channels and also on Spotify on MBS Talk Nelson. We'll see you again next week on Football Focus. Lovely.
Talk Nelson Radio. It's the Talk of Nelson.